Hello and welcome to the May 3rd, 2026 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we've got some budget for this project of ours. We're live every Sunday, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nick's News YouTube channel. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like Industry Tap, Positive.news, Live Science, and GoodGoodGood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the Nick's Newsies. Hello, everybody. Hello, Christian. Hello, Will. It be taco night. That's great to hear. Congratulations on taco night. Man, I'm looking forward to this one. We've got some fantastic articles tonight. I will warn you now, way ahead of time. Make sure you've got some tissues. Because when we get into those wholesome notes, Donna has told me that they will bring me to tears. And if I'm going to be crying, you're going to be crying. So, hey, Nate! Good evening, my partner in crime. All right. News Brew. So I have a veritable grab bag of brews to go through this month. It's going to be wild and random. So first off, if you find yourself wandering the wastes, it's a great idea to get yourself some power armor. From Arkane Aleworks specifically. This is a 6.6% ABV Robust Porter, and it looks to be just as full and tough as its artwork. So, this looks fantastic. Now, finally, we have a brew that isn't a stout. So what do? We are going to use a different glass. Lords know we have put the harpoon snifter through its paces, so we are going to switch off to my Twisted X, or Twisted Rail Brewing Company pint glass, because porters go in pints. So, it's canned, so we don't need the ballast long bottle opener, so we'll just blow the gain on the audio and call it good. Will says, if your alcohol has power armor on it, it's gonna be good. Nate says, I've got to get you this gin. I'm sorry I've been delinquent. Nate, no worries, man. No worries. I know you'll get it to me when you do, and I'm perfectly fine with that, my friend. Alright, here we go. Ooh, it opened up pretty easy. Alright, let's get into the theatrics of a 5-minute pour. Oh, wow. I know, it's a little sacrilegious, it's a straight pour, but I want to get all this gas out of the beer so it doesn't go into me. But it's almost got that layered nitro look to it. Wow. Look at how it's settling out like that. I always love that slow settle. That is really cool. Let it air out. Yep, we gotta let the beer, it's gotta air out a bit. It is dark too. Porters are also a dark beer. I really like my dark beer. So porters follow that dark brown to black color scheme. I'll let a little bit of that come down a bit while we get into our shout-outs. Grand Rapids' first and only cat lounge is right in the heart of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Happy Cat Cafe is a cozy little spot for cat lovers, coffee drinkers, and anyone who just needs a break from the chaos. Their spring drink menu will be around for a limited time, but the laid-back vibe pairs perfectly with a lap full of purring fluff, and it's always available. Partnered with Fig and Friends Animal Rescue, Happy Cat Cafe gives adoptable cats a comfy space to hang out, meet new people, and find their forever homes. They also host fun events like Crochet and Play on May 9th, Tarot with Cats on May 15th, and Cats and Canvas on May 16th. You can check out their website to get tickets for the events, or you can check out their schedule. It's all about community, creativity, and of course, cats. And there are links in the description of our video to everything regarding Happy Cat Cafe. So, to Happy Cat Cafe, cheers. Becky says crochet and play. Crochet and play is really good. This is a very robust porter. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is fortified. Interesting. We also have another shout out, and this is a huge one. Happy birthday on Tuesday of this week, the 5th of May, to producer Donna, as it was 2 years ago today, or 2 years ago of that day, that producer Donna and our graphics guru Grayson joined the Knicks News team and turned this solo project of mine into a team effort. I had completely forgotten that was coming up. Donna practically smacked me with it. I'm like, oh, I should probably remember anniversaries, right? I need to throw those in the calendar. Oh, it's a double. Oh, I am dumb. I read that completely wrong. My bad. It's gonna be producer Donna's birthday on May 5th. And it was 2 years ago today that producer Donna and the graphics guru Grayson joined the Knicks News team. I really screwed all that up. I apologize. In 2 days, happy birthday to producer Donna. That'll be on May 5th. And as of today, it has been 2 years that we've had producer Donna and graphics guru Grayson with the Knicks News team. So, to producer Donna and to Grayson, a happy birthday and a happy anniversary with Knicks News. Cheers. And Nate, of course, hits me with the "this is why you need Donna" bat right away. Thanks, bud. This is exactly why I need Donna. This is why I have a producer. News quote. We have been on a kick with the quotes from our astronauts who participated in the Artemis II mission, and we are going to finish it out with a quote from Gregory Reid Wiseman. And I really love this one, kind of wrapping it all up. Peace and hope for all humankind. That is what we really want. We are bringing together the world, and when you squeeze it all down, it will create magic. Again, that quote comes from Gregory Reid Wiseman, who was born in 1975, who is an American astronaut and naval aviator who commanded the 2026 Artemis II lunar flyby mission, the first crewed flight around the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972. And I really love that quote because a lot of what we've been covering with the quotes from the Artemis II astronauts and other astronauts and really very important people is, well, from the astronauts especially, is they get this amazing view of our world that many of us will only ever see online or in a book. And that is a picture of our world as a whole. And these individuals get a chance to go up beyond our world and look down upon it and see that it is one planet. It's one Earth. We don't have many. We've just got the one. And we all live on it. Peace and hope for all humankind. That is what we really want. We are bringing together the world, and when you squeeze it all down, it will create magic. Thank you very much to Gregory Reid Wiseman and all the astronauts aboard Artemis II. Cheers. Bug update. Due to some unintended shifting of dirt, Elmira, our giant vinegaroon, actually revealed herself down in her winter burrow. There's always a little bit of stress involved when Elmira is asleep because she sleeps for very long periods at a time. At which case, and I don't have a very good way of seeing her to make sure she's okay. So she looks like she might have moved some dirt away and revealed herself. I've been checking on her daily. She's looking good. She's a little bit sluggish and relatively inactive, but she is moving around. And as things begin to warm up, she's going to start venturing to the surface again, which will be great to get some more images of her for you guys and just to enjoy observing her because she really is a really cool bug to look at. Ripley and Little John are doing great. They're both extremely photogenic and they walk around quite a bit, so I get tons of photos. In fact, while we were recording TikToks earlier, Little John came out for a couple of them, so keep an eye on this vivarium right here in case our Emperor Scorpion wants to go out for a wander, because I know he's on the prowl. The Cuddle Puddle, my Madagascar roaches are doing well. They stopped fighting for the most part, and it's a pretty stable chorus. And it looks like Sue, our Asian forest scorpion, who lives way in the back and has been an introvert for a long time now, has been taking midnight strolls. He's got a piece of cork bark in there that's in this corner, and earlier today I found it flipped over. I don't go into that tank for anything because he wants to kill me. So it looks like he's been going out and digging around, and he flipped that cork bark at some point. So I'm just glad to know that he's out walking around. I just wish he'd move around a little bit while we're doing a live stream so y'all could see him, because he really is a specimen. So otherwise, all is well in the bug world. Hey, Nico. Nate says, the actual incredible reality of this feat is beyond mind-blowing. I am still awed by your basic airplane. I agree with that wholeheartedly. The fact that we, the last time we went out to the moon like this was back in 1972, and the fact that we just did it again in our lifetime and are planning to land on the moon again in our lifetime, it really is nothing short of amazing. The technological, the engineering feat of it all, to travel to another body here in our solar system, even if it's just our moon, is nothing short of incredible, and I can't wait to see it all unfold in our lifetime. So, Producer Donna says, Sue is flipping tables. I mean, effectively that cork bark would be like him flipping a table, so he must be mad at something. Alright, let's get into our good news broadcast. And our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories: science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice articles we like to end on. We've got 7 articles here tonight, and again, I'm going to warn you, we've got 3 wholesome notes, and the waterworks are going to run. So, have your tissues handy. Becky said, is he mad? Maybe he's mad at the crickets. I actually upgraded his feeding. I don't feed him crickets as much anymore. I feed him dubia roaches because they're a bit bigger. They're very healthy for him, and he gets a little more interaction. It's horrifying to watch. I don't recommend it. Let's start off our broadcast in Category 1, Science and Technology. We've got 1 article in here tonight, and we said, you thought your Tesla was a pain to charge. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. And also, all of the links to our articles that we present are in the description of our videos. So if you want to check out these articles at your leisure, by all means, we implore you to do so, because these websites put a lot of work into them, and at the end of the day, I'm just presenting them in a different way than they are. And really, all the props go to these websites where we're getting these articles from. So check these out. Give them some views, some traffic, because they deserve it. NASA fires up powerful lithium-fed thruster for trips to Mars. This was published on April 28th of 2026 by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or the jetpropulsion.nasa.gov website. By Jet Propulsion Laboratory. A novel electromagnetic thruster passed an initial test in a specialized chamber at JPL. With further development, these thrusters could support human missions to the Red Planet. A technology that could propel crewed missions to Mars and robotic spacecraft throughout the solar system was recently put to the test at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California. On February 24th, for the first time in years and at power levels exceeding any previous test in the United States, a team fired up an electromagnetic thruster that runs on lithium metal vapor. This prototype achieved power levels beyond the highest power of electric thrusters on any of the agency's current spacecraft. Valuable data from the first firing of this thruster will help inform an upcoming series of tests. At NASA, we work on many things at once, and we haven't lost sight of Mars. The successful performance of our thruster in this test demonstrates real progress towards sending an American astronaut to set foot on the Red Planet, said NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. This marks the first time in the United States that an electric propulsion system has operated at power levels this high, reaching up to 120 kilowatts. We will continue to make strategic investments that will propel the next giant leap. During 5 ignitions, the tungsten electrode at the thruster's center glowed bright white, reaching over 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 2,800 degrees Celsius. The work was conducted in JPL's Electric Propulsion Lab, home to the Condensable Metal Propellant Vacuum Facility, a unique national asset for safely testing electric thrusters that use metal vapor propellants at up to megawatt-class power levels. Electric propulsion uses up to 90% less propellant than traditional high-thrust chemical rockets. Current electric propulsion thrusters, like those powering NASA's Psyche mission, use solar power to accelerate propellants, producing a low, continuous thrust that reaches high speeds over time. Once again, when you're out in space, you don't exactly have a lot of drag or anything going on, so when you apply thrust in a direction, you're going to keep going in that direction. And the more thrust you apply, the faster you're going to go. So even if it's a low amount of thrust, you keep running it, and you just get faster and faster and faster. Physics is awesome. NASA JPL is testing a lithium-fed magnetoplasma dynamic or MPD thruster, a technology that has been researched since the 1960s but never flown operationally. The MPD engine differs from existing thrusters by using high currents interacting with a magnetic field to electromagnetically accelerate lithium plasma. During the test, the team achieved power levels of up to 120 kilowatts, and that's over 25 times the power of the thrusters that are on Psyche, which is currently operating the highest power electric thrusters of any NASA spacecraft. In the vacuum of space, the gentle but steady force of Psyche's thrusters provide over time accelerate the spacecraft to 124,000 miles per hour. Designing and building these thrusters over the last couple of years has been a long lead up to this first test, said James Polk, senior research scientist at JPL. It's a huge moment for us because we not only showed the thruster works, but we also hit the power levels we were targeting. And we know we have a good testbed to begin addressing the challenges to scaling up. To view the test, Polk peered through a small portal into the 26-foot-long or 8-meter-long water-cooled vacuum chamber. Inside, the thruster flared to life, its nozzle-shaped outer electrode glowing incandescent as it emitted a vibrant red plume. Polk has researched lithium-fed MPD thrusters for decades, having worked on NASA's Dawn mission and the agency's Deep Space One, the first demonstration of electric propulsion beyond Earth's orbit. Nate says, okay, I have a question. Don't you need resistance in order to apply thrust, which would also reduce speed over time? Totally fine if you don't know, because I don't either. So, you don't need resistance. You can apply in a vacuum a force, and that force is opposite the intended path of your direction, or your intended direction. You don't need another surface to produce that thrust upon to move you in a vacuum. You simply need to produce thrust. You need to produce force. And the opposite reaction is that for the force that you are putting behind you, you are moving in the opposite direction. You're moving the way you want to go. It's really cool. It's very different, perhaps, from how things run here on Earth, especially when you're not in a vacuum and you've got really, the force of gravity involved very heavily in everything. Because you're not only fighting, when you want to have something go forward, you not only need to produce thrust behind you, but you need to be producing enough force to not go down. Because gravity, there's a force that wants to pull you down towards the center of the planet. So you have to be applying a lot of force to keep going. If you want to go forward, then you're applying a force backwards, and you're applying a force you're applying it in a direction relatively against that force downward, or you're just applying enough that way that you ignore the force down there. Physics is a blast. I had to do a ton of it when I was getting into engineering. We did a lot of ballistic math. And we also did rocket science. And we did the equations for how to, say, like, escape Earth. How much force is required, how much thrust you need to get off the planet. So out in a vacuum, things get very interesting. When you're away from the planet, and the only thing you're worrying about is the gravitational pull of very far celestial bodies, how you move about is very cool. So, Nate, that is a great question. I know there's a ton of reading material to look into on that one, too. I'm sure NASA has a whole thing about it, but, I'm pretty sure just a Wikipedia article on thrust in space or force in space works and can help with breaking down some of, the higher sciences about it. At the end of the day, it all goes back to Newton's 3 laws, so it's really neat. No problem, bud. Happy to help. Where was I? There we are. The team aims to reach power levels between 500 kilowatts and 1 megawatt of thrust in the coming years. Because the hardware operates at such high temperatures, proving the components can withstand the heat over many hours of testing will be a key challenge. Again, we're heating up tungsten to white hot. That is very difficult. So, that is a metal that does not want to get hot normally. A human mission to Mars might need 2 to 4 megawatts of power, requiring multiple MPD thrusters, which would have to operate for more than 23,000 hours. Lithium-fed MPD thrusters have the potential to operate at high power levels, use propellant efficiently, and provide significantly greater thrust than currently flying electric thrusters. Fully developed and paired with a nuclear power source, they could reduce launch mass and support payloads required for human Mars missions. The MPD thruster work, in development for the past 2.5 years, is led by JPL in collaboration with Princeton University in New Jersey and NASA's Glenn Research Center in Cleveland. It is funded by NASA's Space Nuclear Propulsion Project, which in 2020 began supporting a megawatt-class nuclear electric propulsion program for human Mars missions by focusing on 5 critical technology elements, of which the electricity propulsion subsystem is one. The project, based at the agency's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, is part of the NASA's Space Technology Mission Directorate. To learn about NASA's nuclear efforts, you can visit their website, nasa.gov/ignition, which is linked in the article, which is linked in the description of our video. To everybody at JPL and NASA testing out these amazing magnetoplasma dynamic thrusters that will help propel us to Mars. Cheers. All right, that's going to get us out of science and technology. We're going to move on to category 2, health and medicine. And we called this one, a simple spray makes the brain okay. I'll copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. One of the bugs is moving around a lot. I don't think the microphone is picking it up, but something to my right here is moving around quite a bit. And I don't know which bug it is. Scientists reverse brain aging with a nasal spray. This was published at Texas A&M University on April 14th of 2026 by Zaid Elian, Texas A&M University Division of Marketing and Communications. Picture this. Your brain is a high-performance engine. Over decades, it doesn't just wear down, it also starts to run hot. Tiny fires of inflammation smolder deep within the brain's memory center, creating a persistent brain fog that makes it harder to think, form new memories, or even adapt to new environments, all the while increasing the risk of disorders like Alzheimer's disease. Scientists call this slow burn neuroinflammaging, and for decades it was thought to be the inevitable price of growing older. Until now. A landmark study from researchers at the Texas A&M University Naresh K. Vashisht College of Medicine suggests the inflammatory tide responsible for brain aging and brain fog might actually be reversible. And the solution doesn't involve brain surgery, but a simple nasal spray. Led by Dr. Ashok Shetty, University Distinguished Professor and Associate Director of the Institute for Regenerative Medicine, along with senior research scientists Dr. Madhu Leelavathi Narayana and Dr. Mahidhar Kodali, the team developed a nasal spray that, with just 2 doses, dramatically reduced brain inflammation, restored the brain's cellular power plants, and significantly improved memory. The most surprising part? It all happened within weeks and lasted for months. The findings, published in the Journal of Extracellular Vesicles, could reshape the future of neurodegenerative therapies and may even change how scientists think about brain aging itself. The implications of this research could be nothing short of revolutionary. As we develop and scale this therapy, a simple 2-dose nasal spray could one day replace invasive, risky procedures, or maybe even months of medication, Shetty said. The societal impact could be just as profound. In the United States alone, new dementia cases are projected to double over the next 4 decades, from about 514,000 in 2020 to about 1 million in 2060. The trend signals a pressing need for policies and innovative interventions that can minimize both the risk and severity of neurodegenerative disorders like dementia, Shetty said. The study also hints at broad applicability, working equally effectively across both genders, a rare outcome in biomedical research. It's universal, Shetty said. Treatment outcomes were consistent and similar across both sexes. One day, the approach could even help stroke survivors rebuild lost brain function, or slow, even reverse, the effects of cognitive aging in humans. Our approach redefines what it means to grow old, Shetty said. We're aiming for successful brain aging, keeping people engaged, alert, and connected. Not just living longer, but living smarter and healthier, Shetty said. Oh no, Producer Donna says that's going in the dictionary. At the heart of this groundbreaking development are millions of microscopic biological parcels known as extracellular vesicles, or EVs. They act like delivery vehicles, carrying powerful genetic cargo called microRNAs. MicroRNAs act like master regulators, Narayana said. They help modulate and regulate many gene and signaling pathways in the brain. But the delivery route is just as important as the cargo. Packed into the nasal spray, the tiny EVs bypass the brain's protective shield and travel directly into brain tissue, where they are absorbed. The mode of delivery is one of the most exciting aspects of our approach, Kodali said. Intranasal delivery allows us to reach and treat the brain directly without invasive procedures. Once absorbed into the brain's resident immune cells, the microRNAs suppress systems like NLRP3 inflammasome and the C-gas sting signaling pathways known to drive chronic inflammation in aging brains. At a cellular level, the treatment recharged neuronal mitochondria, or the power plants that live inside the brain cells. That's right, if you took like third grade science and health, or third grade medicine, whatever it would be under, you learned that mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell, and it will stick with you to the end of your life. By recharging these cellular power plants, the therapy didn't just clear brain fog. It physically improved the brain's ability to process and store information. We are giving neurons their spark back by reducing oxidative stress and reactivating the brain's mitochondria, Narayana said. Behavioral tests confirmed the biology. Models treated with the nasal spray showed remarkable improvements in not only recognizing familiar objects, but also detecting new objects and changes in their environment, a sharp contrast to the control. We are seeing the brain's own repair system switch on, and healing inflammation and restoring itself, Shetty said. While further research is needed, Shetty and his team have already filed a U.S. patent for the therapy, marking a milestone in what could become a breakthrough for brain aging treatments. Breakthroughs like the one led by Shetty highlight Texas A&M as a research powerhouse, where national and global research priorities help shape the next generation of innovative solutions. We aren't just trying to understand the biological mechanisms, we are translating and developing our findings into real-world therapies that could make a difference, Shetty said. Backed by the National Institute on Aging, or the NIA, the Texas A&M team pooled collaborative knowledge, expertise, and resources to turn a simple nasal spray into a therapy with the potential to reframe how scientists think about brain aging. Our partnership with the NIA is very important, Shetty said. This kind of work requires resources and the right people to tackle problems and develop solutions that could change lives. Ultimately, while the brain's engine may sputter with age, scientists are now learning how to reignite it, sparking a new era of cognitive health and showing that the clock on brain aging might not just be paused. It can be turned back. For more information, you can look up the intranasal human NSC-derived EV's therapy can restrain inflammatory microglial transcriptome and NLRP3 and C-gas sting signaling in aged hippocampus, Journal of Extracellular Vesicles. And there is a link to it in the article. So, to everybody involved with at Texas A&M University, Naresh K. Vashisht College of Medicine, and everybody involved in the greater scheme, working on reducing or even reversing the effects of aging on our minds and our brains. Cheers. Nate, do you mind if I say that one on the stream? Nate just said something in the chat, but I kind of want confirmation before I read that one. Go for it. Okay, Nate said, on a personal note, my dad was deep into dementia when he passed, and watching some lose themselves over time and being reduced to an angry child is awful. I'm wondering if this reverses that, or at least a step towards that. This has huge potential. I think that's what we're looking at here. I think we are looking at an unbelievable tool being developed that could reduce dementia. I know we've talked about dementia and Alzheimer's disease on several articles because we're looking at different cures for it. I vaguely remember that inflammation does play some part, basically in the brain breaking down. So if we can reduce the inflammation, of course, there's a potential to reduce anything that comes from it, especially dementia. So that would be really cool for a lot of folks. And thank you very much for sharing that, Nate. All right, that's going to get us out of health and medicine. We're going to move on to category 3, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals. We got 2 articles in here, and this first one we called From the Brink of Extinction. And this one was sent in by Nick's Newsy Cat. So Cat, thank you very much for sending this one in. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check this out. Who's moving around? I see Ripley, but Ripley's not making any noise. California condor nesting in Pacific Northwest for first time in a century on Yurok territory. This was published to mangabay.com, the news.mangabay, on the 20th of March 2026 by Liz Kimbrough. A pair of California condors reintroduced to the Pacific Northwest by the Yurok tribe appears to have established the species' first nest in the region in more than 100 years, program officials announced in early March. Based on shifts in behavior and satellite flight data, biologists with the Northern California Condor Restoration Program, or the NCCRP, determined that the female condor, known by her Yurok name Najem, I think it's pronounced Najem Nishinkwa, or Nishinka? Nishwinka? Najem Nishwinka, or She Carries Our Prayers, likely laid an egg inside a hollow in an old-growth redwood tree along Redwood Creek drainage in early February. Her mate, called Hlau Hulet, or At Last I Fly, has been sharing incubation duties. Both birds are roughly 6 years and 10 months old, right at the cusp of sexual maturity for the species, which typically begins breeding between the ages of 6 and 7. Producer Donna forgot to warn me about the Yurok names in this one. Thanks, Producer Donna. It's okay. I think we got through them. If there's any people who are a part of the Yurok tribe and I butchered those, I apologize. Please correct me in the chat. This is a huge moment for our Northern California flock, said Chris West, the NCCRP program manager and Yurok Wildlife Department senior biologist. It is important to remember that these are wild birds. We trap them occasionally for health monitoring, but if they nest, and how successful they are, is totally up to them, with as little interference from us as possible. The nest site is too remote for direct visual confirmation, so staff are relying on wing-mounted transmitters and field observations to monitor the pair's progress. The program is exploring the use of drones to get a look at the nest, and the egg, if present, would take 55 to 58 days to hatch, with both parents taking turns on incubation shifts, a behavior typical of the species. The discovery of the nest carries significance for the Yurok people. The California condor, Gymnogyps californianus. Did I get that? Geez, there's also a scientific name. I think it's Gymnogyps californianus, or Pregonish in the Yurok language, is sacred to the tribe, and its feathers and songs are integral to Yurok world renewal ceremonies. In 2003, a panel of Yurok elders designated the condor as the top priority for land-based species restoration on their ancestral territory. The tribe spent nearly 2 decades conducting studies, evaluating contaminant risks, and building partnerships before releasing the first cohort of 4 condors in May of 2022. The species' slow reproductive cycle makes every breeding attempt consequential. They nest only every other year, laying just a single egg per clutch, and it takes more than a year of parental care before a chick can fend for itself. I have been waiting for this moment since the first condors arrived in 2022, said Tiana Williams-Clausen, director of the Yurok Wildlife Department. Although the news is hopeful, biologists are tempering their expectations. First-time condor parents often fail to hatch their first egg due to inexperience with incubation. As a scientist, I know I shouldn't get my hopes up too high, but that doesn't mean I can't cheer for these young parents' success, Williams-Clausen said. The nesting comes at a cautiously optimistic time for the species. The California condor's entire population stood at 607 individuals, according to a December 2025 count by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. That marks a dramatic recovery from 1982, when only 22 birds remained. By 1987, every surviving condor had been captured for a last-ditch breeding program. Reintroductions began in 1991 and have since expanded to sites in Central and Southern California. Arizona, Baja California, and now the Pacific Northwest. Still, the species faces persistent threats. Lead poisoning from ammunition fragments in carrion remains the leading cause of condor mortality, and avian influenza killed more than 20 condors in the southwest flock in recent years. A young Californian condor named Peinopeowok, or I am friend or kind or good-natured, was found dead in the backcountry of Redwood National Park in January 2025, the first loss for the Northern California flock. He was roughly 18 months old. The cause of death was determined to be lead poisoning. A natural death would have been less painful for us, the humans watching as he started to flourish in the wild. Peinopeowok was known for his friendliness, preening and huddling together with other condors and sharing food easily. He had only been flying free for a few months. That he was brought down by something human-caused and preventable is devastating, said Williams Clausen. 24 condors now fly within Yurok ancestral territory, and the NCCRP plans to release at least one new cohort each summer for the next 2 decades. Whether this new nesting attempt leads to a successful hatching, the fact that reintroduced condors are attempting to breed in their historical northern range represents a meaningful step for a recovery effort more than 4 decades in the making. To everybody involved with the Yurok tribe and the continued conservation efforts going on for California condors, and to the 2 condors that may have just laid an egg and are taking care of it for the first time. Cheers. If I didn't say it earlier, hey Nico. Also to Kat for sending in that article. Cheers. I was going to say if I didn't say hi Nico earlier. Hello Nico. Nate says, okay, I'm officially an idiot. I honestly thought these things were mythical creatures. Public school failed me. If a Pegasus is real too, I give up. Nate, I think you're okay. I don't think Pegasi are real. But the California condor definitely exists. So, I got nothing for you on that one, bud. Alright. Our second article here in Flora and Fauna we called Nature's Always Done It Better. I'll copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. Nate says painful. Becky says, shh, Nick, you have to believe. Is it like with fairies from Hook? Gosh, that's a deep cut. Tim says, God bless you, Nate. Hey, Charlie. Hey, Tim. You gotta clap your hands and say you believe in fairies, right? It's not Tinkerbell, says Nate. Oh, man. Miracle Tree removes 98% of microplastics from drinking water, outperforming chemical alternatives. This was published to Euro News on April 21st of 2026 by Angela Simmons. A millennia-old purification technique could be the cure for Europe's microplastic-riddled drinking water. In a recent study, seeds from the miracle moringa tree were found to match or outperform their chemical counterpart in filtering out aged PVC microplastics, one of the most harmful plastic types for human health. The findings could pave the way for a greener alternative for treatment plants. Tiny plastic particles released from car tires, paint, textiles, and degraded plastic packaging have been building up in global water systems for decades, creating a silent but growing health risk. In 2024, the EU ramped up monitoring protocols for microplastics in drinking water. But last year, researchers warned that tiny particles, which are most likely to pass through the intestine and into the blood and organs, could be slipping through the net. The use of moringa for purification is as old as it is innovative. It is thought to have been used by ancient Egyptians to remove bacteria and reduce turbidity in water. With its fast growth, drought resistance, and low water requirements, the perennial crop not only requires minimal inputs, it acts as a carbon sink, thrives in arid, degraded soil, and supports biodiversity. Moringa's wide range of uses, from treating malnutrition and diseases to water, purification, and anti-aging products, have earned it the nickname of the miracle tree. Beyond the immediate health impacts of microplastics, which could be linked to cancer, heart attacks, and reproductive problems, these tiny plastic particles, less than 5 millimeters in length, can absorb and transport other hazardous pollutants throughout ecosystems and into the food chain. Currently, European countries use both physical and chemical methods to remove microplastics from wastewater. Aluminum sulfate, often referred to as alum, is an inorganic salt commonly used as a coagulant in water treatment and separates microplastics and other contaminants for removal. And while that's effective at purification, improper use can lead to raised aluminum levels in water, which have been linked to potential neurological disorders, including Alzheimer's disease, because you really don't want a buildup of aluminum in your brain. Alum also produces large volumes of sludge in the coagulation process, which is difficult to manage and dispose of, typically going to landfill, where it can leach toxins into soil and waterways. The production of alum is also harmful. Jeez, alum is just bad in every way. Requiring strip mining for bauxite in tropical regions like Australia, Brazil, Guinea, Guyana, and Jamaica, which can lead to deforestation and habitat loss. Refining and processing raw materials into the finished product requires significant thermal energy, releasing planet-heating emissions. So we should pretty much just find replacements for alum. Charlie says, Nana's got enough tinfoil going on. Jeez. The recent study, which was led by Gabriel Batista at Sao Paulo State University, or UNESP, Brazil, published in the scientific journal ACS Omega, reveals the promise of so-called miracle tree moringa as a plant-based, non-toxic alternative. It compares alum with salt-based extract made from moringa. Both coagulants work by neutralizing the negative electrical charge that causes microplastic particles to repel each other and evade filtration. Once neutralized, the particles clump together into larger aggregates called flocks that can be caught by a sand filter. Both alum and its moringa counterparts successfully removed over 98% of PVC particles in water, with moringa proving to be more consistently reliable across a wider pH range. The particles were around 15 micrometers, small enough to slip through standard filters. Moringa was found to be effective for inline filtration as direct filtration, meaning it could cut out the costly and energy-consuming flocculation process, which binds coagulated particles together. One drawback that the researchers say needs further scrutiny is the leaching of dissolved organic carbon during the process, which could complicate downstream treatment processes. Moringa also needs to be tested for efficacy at scale. But it is pretty cool to look into an alternative to alum, which is just absolutely horrible in every way, shape, and form, if this works out. So, to everybody working on figuring out if moringa, the miracle tree from the past, can help with protecting our water in the future, cheers. Topping off my beer. Been doing a lot of talking today, so there we go. Okay. That's going to get us out of flora and fauna. We are going to move on to wholesome notes. We've got 3 wholesome notes tonight, and I once again will warn you, All of these could be classified, well, two of them especially could be classified as I'm not crying, you're crying. So, Producer Donna was telling me in no small amount, make sure you have your tissues ready. So, we're going to start off with our first wholesome note of the night. A good opportunity to get things off our chest. I will copy and paste this into the chat if you want to check this out. And Producer Donna in the chat just shouted tissue alert. And I will say once again that you can view all of the articles that we present on our episodes in the descriptions of the videos. And we highly implore you to go check them out. Whew. Okay. I don't have any tissues, so I might be doing myself in. We'll find out. Football club helps grieving dads with child loss. This was published to the BBC on March 3rd, 2025 by John Watson. Charlie yelled, "Go get some." Nah, I'm going to do this tissueless. I might be setting myself up for failure. We'll find out. A football club set up to help fathers who've experienced the loss of a child has brought men together under a banner of something we've all gone through, one dad said. Every week, members of Blackburn Rovers Dads FC get together for a free game run by qualified coaches from Blackburn Rovers Community Trust, where they are also offered support and guidance. We come together as a group and as a little band of friends and brothers and just have some time together, Stephen Chapman said. Founder Sarah Bernasconi Parsons from Maggie's Stillbirth Legacy, a charity that supports bereaved families, said she had the idea to set up the team because men and sports goes hand in hand. To come together and support each other through something that everyone's still going through in their own way, that's what matters the most, Mr. Chapman said. He added that he loved to talk about the little girl he lost because it fills me with pride. He said the team gave him a sense of normality through something that had been really, really tough. It's a new normal, almost, after going through a loss, he said. Having somewhere like this to look forward to every single week, it excites me. The fact that my club is doing something within my community to help support me through something I've been through is fantastic. When I first lost my daughter, I felt I couldn't talk to anybody, another member of the team, Brian Price, said. When I was at work, because I'm a welder, I used to just put my helmet down and cry my eyes out for a good hour or so. He said new members would always be welcome on the team. We're here. We'll listen, and we'll talk to you, he said. It's always good to talk when people hit milestones, like when it would have been the child's birthday, or when it's been anniversaries, another dad, Alex Hamer, added. So it gives us a good opportunity to get things off of our chest. I never expect to go through anything like that in your life, or you never expect to go through anything like that in your life. Miss Bernasconi Parsons said, I knew there was a need for a dad's group, because men and women, we grieve so differently. Women like to cry and talk about our feelings, whereas the men clam up because they feel they have to be strong. It is a lot for them, so I just thought, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do a football team. And she said it was making a difference. Their wives and girlfriends have been saying that they can't wait for the footy, and I hear they've been sneaking to the pub after, she said. That's not a very well-kept secret. To everybody involved with Blackburn Rovers Dads FC or football club, setting up a safe space for men to be able to discuss and grieve together. Cheers. Nate says, oh man, my son is my purpose in life. That loss is completely unnatural. I am so glad this exists for these people. I have no idea where you begin to recover. God bless this. Cheers to that, Nate. Oh, thank you, Producer Donna. There is a follow-up. As of April 21st of 2026, the Blackburn Rovers Dads Football Club has been awarded the English Football League's Championship Community Project of the Season. The award recognizes an outstanding club charity project that delivers meaningful and lasting change for the people of the local community beyond football. Gary Robinson, Chief Executive Officer at Blackburn Rovers Community Trust, said, "The award is a testament to the compassion, commitment, and support the project provides to bereaved dads in our community." So to the Blackburn Rovers Dads Football Club, also receiving an award, rightfully so, for the work that they're doing. Cheers. Our next article is Not All Heroes Wear Capes. You know these are always good. I'll copy and paste this one in the chat if y'all want to check this one out. Saskatchewan tow truck rescues moose in a truly Canadian moment. This was published to the Weather Network on April 30th of 2026 by Connor O'Donovan. A tow truck driver in Kelvington, Saskatchewan, put his regular calls on hold to rescue a yearling moose trapped in a frozen icy ditch. You've likely seen cars, trucks, and SUVs stuck in a snowy prairie ditch. But what about a moose? Well, that's exactly what a Saskatchewan tow truck driver discovered after the wild wintry weather that whipped across the prairies last week. Clint Gottinger, owner of Rebel Towing in Kelvington, Saskatchewan, was responding to a couple of calls for service Saturday evening when he spotted a yearling moose not far from his acreage. He quickly realized that the young moose was stuck in an area of frozen runoff. An unusual rescue operation then began. "I thought, oh man, I've got to help this guy out. I can't see this animal suffer," Gottinger told the Weather Network. "Everyone's going to have to wait. This is priority." Gottinger, who says his clients were understanding once they learned why service was delayed, backed his tow truck up to the moose and lowered the deck. He then threw a soft sling over the exhausted animal's neck. "It worked great. I started winching, and the moose kicked and helped a bit," recalled Gottinger. "My neighbors drove by and hopped out to help. We repositioned the sling a few times and got him right onto the deck, and he was so tired he just sat there." Gottinger moved the moose to his property and was able to set it down on his driveway. He covered it with some blankets and said it rested there for about 24 hours, occasionally attempting to stand and walk. He noticed Monday morning that the moose had finally left the area. It was a good day, a good rescue, and a one-of-a-kind experience. He posted about the rescue on Facebook, and the news quickly went viral, garnering thousands of comments and shares. He spent the following days fielding interview requests from all over North America. Gottinger thinks the moose was likely being chased by a predator when it entered the icy runoff, which he estimates was a little over a meter deep. Spring is an active time of year for moose as they seek out water and nutrients after a long winter. They can be especially deficient of sodium around this time, a mineral that's crucial to the success of processes like calving and growing antlers. So you can often find them enjoying roadside salt licks, according to research from the University of Northern British Columbia. That is, as Producer Donna put, this is a break between tissue articles. But to Clint Gottinger, who put rescuing people from, situations in their cars on hold to rescue a yearling moose. Not all heroes wear capes. Cheers. Nate says, I'm never living in a place that has winter so bad a moose can get stuck. I love my winter. I am guilty of that, so I could see myself being in an area where moose get stuck in the winter, but who knows? Probably not, but you know, it could happen. All right, last article of the night, and this one is a Saviors of All Ages article. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. Middle schoolers hailed as heroes for stepping in after bus driver has medical emergency. This was published to ABC News on April 28th of 2026 by Yijin Yu. And before I get into this, Nate just said, when you're over 40, that love of winter goes away. Well, I am 40, and it hasn't gone away yet, so maybe in 41 we'll see. But let's get into this article. 5 middle school students are being hailed as heroes after jumping in to stop their school bus when their driver lost consciousness. I had a medical emergency, and the students stepped up. Leah Taylor, a school bus driver in Hancock County, Mississippi, told ABC News South Mississippi affiliate WLOX. The 45-year-old said she was driving a bus full of students on her usual route last Wednesday when she said she had an asthma attack and passed out. She kind of sort of fell over, flopped over, and everyone started standing up, student Mackenzie Finch recalled to WLOX. In school bus surveillance video provided by ABC News by the Hancock County School District, 5 Hancock middle school students can be seen working as a team to stop the bus and assist Taylor. I saw that the bus was veering off to the side, then I grabbed the wheel. Jackson Kasnev, another student, told WLOX. Meanwhile, Darius Clark, a 6th grader, hit the brakes. The bus started rolling forward. It started gaining speed, so when I clicked the brakes, it about threw me out the windshield, Darius said. Kaylee Clark, an 8th grade student, dialed 911, and Destiny Cornelius, also an 8th grader, gave Taylor her medicine. I saw her medication in her hand, and I saw her reaching for it. I knew that's what she needed, Destiny said. The 5 students said they all worked together until first responders arrived and tried to keep the other students on the bus calm. Taylor said she thanked each of the students who came to her rescue the next day, the next time she picked them up on the bus. I can't thank these students enough for saving everybody's life, because it could have turned out so much worse, Taylor said. Hancock Middle School principal Dr. Melissa Saucier told ABC News in a statement that she wasn't surprised at the students' heroic actions. This is who our students are at Hancock Middle School. They care, they lead, and when it matters most, they step up before even having to be told, Saucier said via email. Our Hancock Middle School community is so incredibly proud of them. I hope that when people hear this story, they are reminded that there is so much good in this generation, in this next generation. We just have to pay attention, Saucier added. To 5 middle school students who stepped up when sadly their bus driver encountered a medical emergency and turned a situation that could have been so much worse into a situation to cheer for. You are indeed saviors of all ages. Cheers. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you all again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Knicks News YouTube channel. Again, we're live every Sunday, and we have our next episode on May 10th of 2026. We encourage participation, so by all means, if you feel inclined, you can message or post suggestions for news brews, shoutouts, news quotes, and especially good news articles that we can present on future episodes, especially like the wholesome notes we've had tonight. Saving moose, having a great football club to be able to chat with other dads, or 5 middle schoolers who stepped up and saved a bus full of kids. You can message us on Facebook or Instagram, or email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are in the description of our video. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment on our content across all of our platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and even TikTok videos to get good news and joy out into the algorithms. Please, no SEO improvement advertisements. We're not interested. But all of our platforms continue to grow, which is amazing, and all thanks to all of you. So really, I have you all to thank for everything. Nate says, great stories. Have a great birthday, Donna. Nick, continue to enjoy the fountain of youth. You haven't changed in 20 years. I'll tell you what, Nate. This might be the fountain of youth. Who knows? But, as always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night. And I will play us out.